advertising is ripe for satire. Yeah, there we go.
This is Dan Murphy. He heads up marketing at Liquid Death.
The idea has to be good enough that press needs to write about it.
The company has become known for its edgy, boundary-pushing marketing and crazy approach to advertising.
Drink Liquid Death flavored sparkling water.
Smells like my stepdad in here.
I sat down with Dan to ask him what the secret sauce is.
Part of the secret sauce is that
you guys have agency backgrounds.
yeah, it's what we learn not to do. Every other brand teases and teases. We don't do that. We just drop it.
And what is Liquid Death?
It looks like beer. It looks like a foreign beer. It does.
I was doing an interview with some ad trades, brought the Liquid Death for the coffee in the morning, and the waitress was like, "You can't drink beer here." And I said, no, it's not beer, it's water.
Yeah.
Water. It's really water. Look at the can. This is so cool, I can't believe it. I had to say, we didn't pay this woman.
It's just water.
It has to be funny enough that you're gonna share it with your friends for free. You're looking for the next thing, and when it drops, it goes into your feed because it's such a cool thing.
I'm very, very excited to talk to you, but first we're gonna pull out some drinks of this very easily accessible cooler. If you want this.
It's memories of childhood.
No, this.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Cool. I'm gonna take a mango one.
Cheers.
Hopefully Capri Sun sponsors this deal. Cheers. Thank you for being here. It's my favorite fruit. I grew up eating mangoes in Pakistan, and you just don't get good mango flavored things, and yours guys is spot on. So thank you for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of it is that it's not a sugar bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, if you read the label, we got it's natural agave, which is what's in it, and 20 calories for a big old tall boy.
And it tastes like mango, not mango flavoring.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Is that like something you spend a lot of time on?
Oh,
Not you personally,
flavors?
but just- yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. We are always thinking about, the flavors have done really well. I mean, the brand launched with still water, we moved to sparkling, those are mountain source, kind of we compete against the Topo Chicos, the Pellegrinos, Evians, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Launch flavors, which are great, because it's kind of infinite. You can always find new, interesting flavors to move to.
How many do you have now?
Well, depending on when this airs, I mean, liquiddeath.com, find them all. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of flavors. We're going to launch even more. And we moved into iced tea last year and quickly became #1 iced tea on Amazon. And the math behind Liquid Death is we're making really healthy drinks for people that don't necessarily know they're healthy for you.
Yeah.
All low calorie, natural ingredients, that sort of thing. Even our tea is 30 grams, we call a microdose of caffeine. It's not like a Red Bull that's going to kill a kid. But yeah, I think that flavor profile, I think where many people don't want all that high fructose corn syrup in their life, and they've really gravitated to this.
Yeah.
And it's a replacement, like a healthy soda.
Are you able to talk about what's next? Like what iced tea, do you already know what's next?
Yeah, I think next year you're going to see some more unique and cool flavors from Liquid Death. But so a couple of years back we did a Super Bowl spot.
Yeah.
Every other brand teases and teases. You know the celeb that's going to be there, and it's like the trailer you watch and you go, I've already seen the movie.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We just drop it.
Yeah.
We find that that's a more effective
Drop
way.
it before the Super Bowl. Everybody's seen it.
Well, no, that's what most do. I mean, anything we do, we don't really tease out. We just go, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
It's a better way to win the internet for the day.
I want to talk about so many different things, but I feel like you're doing marketing the way a 2024 person should be doing. You guys have agency backgrounds.
Yeah, it's what we learn not to do.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to ask for. Like, it feels like you have done this for a while in the agencies, and you're like, let's not do any of that shit now.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of that. I mean, the other side of the story is we hire people from absolutely not the agency world.
Yeah.
Our lane is entertainment first. We don't market to people. We don't really do marketing with ads. Our bar is, it has to be, in our case, humor is our entertainment. Yep. Others have done it differently. Red Bull, Monster were great at entertainment first with action sports.
Yep.
Other brands can be educational. I mean, there's many ways to do it, but you have to be honest about the output. It has to be as funny as anything in your feed or better so that you share it. It has to be interesting enough for press to write about it. And that's, part of our kind of nature as a startup. Like, we can't just burn money in media. We have to have press write about it for free. People share it for free.
You said earlier to me that it has to be as funny as the old SNL clip that's resurfacing.
Yeah, or the unhinged creator, or the crazy car crash that's in your feed. Like, the algorithm is good at bubbling up the most interesting things for you to the top. And at one point on a previous panel, it's like, what brands do you follow? I go, I don't.
Yeah. Who follows brands?
Yeah, they're not, or not really many are doing interesting stuff in my view.
I love that you said that the clip that's resurfaced, because you're not competing with just comedy that's happening today.
But we are that too.
You're
Stand-up
competing.
comedy clips and hot takes on where we're at in culture.
But you understand that you're competing with greatest comedy of all time because it's filmed and it exists and it resurfaces and it comes back and it goes away. How do you... So I was fascinated learning about your process, and we'll talk about that in a second. Your team, what does it look like? Like, what does the marketing or creative team look like?
Everything's in-house from concept to production.
Yep.
We have an internal, production company called Death Machine. They're great, and we move really quick. I did have an agency career, and I do know. We brief and strategy and blah 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 blah. And by the time, we're doing things in a week or two.
Yeah.
We're giving away a jet. We'll talk about that maybe, the dehydrator, right? And that was kind of under 3 months. And when you back out some of the immovable elements of that, game, you gotta, 60 days to get point of sale and to post bonds in 50 states and the legal and all, that is an insane timeline.
Yeah.
We come up with ideas all the time, and it's like, what can we shoot? What can we do? What can we get out quickly?
How does that process work? You talked about the Thursday meetings. Take me through start to finish, and I'm sure there's stuff working in parallel, stuff that like the jet, it takes 3 months to make, stuff that you're shooting that is happening right now. What does the process look like?
Well, our problem is certainly not ideation. We have so many that are there, and we'll come up with things. I mean, we've had, investor ambassadors who are celebrities, Tony Hawk and comedians, Burt Kreischer, Whitney Cummings, Tom Segura. We have so many folks, and so we know, we get to do a piece of content with them. They've invested in the company, and so those are people that we build an idea around.
Yeah.
We have tons of brands that want to work with us. They kind of see us like an SNL stage. They get to come on, do something maybe a little different, maybe a little outside their brand. They get into the Liquid Death world, and we vet those. We vet those people. We're always looking for tension. Liquid Death, heavy metal, expected. Liquid Death, elf cosmetics, very much not.
Yeah.
So we can do something really fun in that space. And then we have a whole series of ideas that, there's definitely some logic and some left brain behind it. There are new markets to tackle, new products to talk about. I mean, one of our challenges is that we intentionally look like a beer. We look like maybe energy. We're confused, and so we have to get the message through to folks. Oh, don't be scared. It's just water. How can we do that in a fun way? We've done taste tests, we've tased tests, and all that other kind of stuff. So there's always this swirl of ideas, and then there's always evolving priorities, retail focus and education focus. As of this year, and we're fast and fluid, and we plot things out, and we move things up, and we push things out, and
Is there a calendar you're aiming at? Is there what is the besides the creative? Is there marketing planning going on?
I mean, not in the way that I think brands or agencies that I've worked with in the past do it. But we have seasonality. People drink more water when it's super hot outside.
Yeah.
So we look at that, and we put more energy and attention up to that point and through that point. Retailers want programming, fun stuff like the jet that happens at different points in time, and they need lead times. And again, they work on long lead times, so we have to think about things out through even next year and beyond, like other brands.
Yeah.
But part of the secret sauce is that we can move so quick because it's a small team in-house that when we've got a great idea, we can go knock it out, toss it out, see what it does.
When you say small team, how many people are you talking about?
The creative department could legally fit in an SUV with seatbelts. I mean, small team. And then we have supporting folks and others. But we're a startup. We're still very much a startup, and we're scrappy and hungry. And every dollar has to be 100x, or 50x.
Yeah.
Definitely part of our superpower.
And it doesn't you're trying to make content at scale, as in you're not trying to make as many pieces of content you can.
Well, we do make a lot,
yeah.
and part of that is a stock portfolio approach, right? So you have, when we have a big partner like a Martha Stewart, we know that's going to make noise, that's going to be press, and that's a bigger investment for us to do that. And so those are your blue chip stocks. Then we have a whole bunch of little bets, and some kind of go great, and some, are less viewed. I mean, we did this thing, Chest Blaster, where, it's a take on the old shake weight, but in this Liquid Death alternate universe, well, what if this can is the new best workout device?
Yeah.
And the idea is that you shake it and empty the can, and it's, $1.99 to get your new workout. And it's very it was a fun idea, and we tossed it up, and it was pennies. I mean, it was under 30 grand to do that, cast that, shoot that, do the whole thing. We tossed it out. It's at 10 million views right now. That hit. So it was a small bet, didn't take a lot of money. We have other bets in different ranges, and we do enough of them.
Is there small bets that don't hit?
Well, I don't think so, because everything we've put out has made us laugh.
Yeah.
Everything we've put out, we felt proud about. But, we did this thing, it was kind of like a take on the night. A lot of what we do is satire of marketing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really this big, meta thesis of a lot of this. And we did a take on the Nike athlete endorsement commercial, the black and white Moody, and it's like, well, what if we gave the first 6-figure endorsement contract to a water boy, a hydration expert? Because if you think about it, if the team is dehydrated, the game's over and they're done. And so, again, we make this kind of elaborate logic to make it happen. And we thought it was going to be kind of funny. And, again, we get a lot of interest from press. And the day we drop it is the day Tom Brady comes out of retirement and stole the news cycle. So again, that one maybe didn't get as many views as it could have.
Yeah.
But if you go back and watch it, it's a ludicrous thing. And we did combines, and we found the best hydration expert in the NFL.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it did.
Does that feel like, okay, so you have so much success with so many things. When something like that happens, do you feel like, is the team still motivated to be like, yeah, fuck that, we're just going to go do something
on to the next?
else? Yeah.
Absolutely on to the next. And, we go down the road with a different celebrity or a different brand, and, often we think of Liquid Death like a character, and if you put that character into a situation, there's usually only one right answer.
Yeah.
So if we're working with a brand, we think there's something funny there that we could do together. It's like, here's the idea. And they go, we don't like that one. Okay, cool. And we just go on to the next.
Yeah.
And again, working with brands is fun for us. It exposes us to different audiences. It, in retail could get us, into different places. So we like doing it.
Do you plan that way? They're like, this is an audience we don't have, or I mean, it's water, so everybody, that's the coolest part. Do you plan that and say, well, we're not doing well here, or we want to expand here, or we're not thinking about this, or football, we're not talking about that enough? Or is it just kind of organic based on the idea that's up?
Well, there's certainly an organic nature, and then there's a planned nature.
Yeah.
We're a brand for anybody who's thirsty and has a sense of humor. So it's very broad.
Yeah.
And we're a very young brand. We've been around just about 5 years.
Yeah.
And already in 5 years, we're the number 3 on social of all beverage, second only to Monster and Red Bull. They've been around a long time. They've put some dollars into that.
Yeah.
So we're growing rapidly. And, the audience changes as you scale, as you get into different places. And so, yeah, we look for partners. Like, we were never written up in Homes and Gardens until we worked with Martha Stewart. Now, all of a sudden, parents or moms might know about us.
Yeah. Do you plan that? Is that intentional, or is that kind of retrospectively you're like, oh, well, Homes and Gardens?
There's intentionality with it. There's, who are the next bit of audience for us to go, and then how can we do that from, when we do things like media targeting or celebs we work with. Yeah, there's very much a plan.
First I want to talk about the stocks, because it's such an interesting way to look at that. Do you know, going into a year, a quarter, or whatever, like, we're going to have one blue chip moment, we're going to have this? Is it planned that way, where we're like, we're going to get one of these bets, we're going to get one of these bets, and 6 of these bets?
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, look, our goal is to be the best thing you see on the internet that day, and at least one moment a month. It's a nice metronome. You're looking for the next thing, and when it drops, it goes into your feed because it's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Now we're doing a little more than that. I think we're averaging almost 2 a month this year, because we've had such a pipeline of ideas that we're just pushing things out. And we have budget realities like any company, and so we kind of allocate the budget. And it's not just all this, these big moments. We've got podcasts, we've got influencer stuff we do, different things in social.
Yeah.
All modern media, really. We're experimenting a lot this year with connected TV. We have a kind of interesting flywheel where we can do something kind of wild and push it out to our organic audience, And we have our own internal metrics to see how we think it performed. We really value shares.
Yeah.
If it's funny enough that you're DMing, you're texting to a friend, we go, okay, there's really something there.
Yeah.
It's worth way more than a like. We've got some proportionality to it all. If you save it for later, if you're commenting, how those things are engaged. It's only then that we go, let's put really small dollars and boost behind it and see if we can then push it to a new audience that gobbles it up and we have the amplification. Then if that does well, let's put it now in an ad expected environment like YouTube pre-roll, where somebody's trying to watch their cat video, their car video, or whatever it is they like, and we're interrupting them with this ad. What is the through view on it? And again, we have some that are just tremendous, where most people go, this is more interesting than what I was actively searching for. I'm not hitting the skip button at all.
Yeah.
Then it's a great signal to go, what happens if we push this now through the glass on connected TV? And I think, again, most folks don't understand how you can target so acutely digitally. You're hitting the Hulu button, Apple TV, or other, I don't know what the ad buys are like on Apple TV exactly, but all the majors.
Yeah.
Sitting on your couch, you're watching it through the big screen, and we're often sandwiched between a truck commercial and insurance, and we put Chest Blaster out there.
Yeah.
And it becomes hyper memorable.
It just stands out
Yeah.
in the marketing. Creative versus media. Like, how much are you spending creative production versus media? Because I think
Yeah, we don't spend on media really.
you don't.
We're
Like, how much are you spending to boost all this stuff and whatever?
pennies compared to any other brand. I mean, we have a proper entertainment first earned media approach.
Yeah.
It has to be, the idea has to be good enough that press needs to write about it. It has to be funny enough that you're going to share it with your friends for free. And these, moments where we're experimenting with media, I mean, relative to, any other brand that has kind of done what we've done, is very, very small. It's our superpower.
Yeah. Talk me through the process of the weekly, because it's so fascinating what your weekly process is, weekly creative process. How does it start? When do you guys meet? What is that meeting like?
Yeah, I mean, we have an awesome, to get into the org structure might be interesting. So we think of it kind of like left brain, right brain, right? So we have creatives that are amazing at understanding what's going on in culture and coming up with these never before hilarious ideas. They come typically from non-traditional backgrounds. This is an Adult Swim writer, somebody who wrote for The Onion, comedians. We have a network of stand-up comedians that can look at scripts and maybe give a bit of punch up, or, hey, a flavor name, what should we call this? Give us a few of those. People that are professionally funny.
Right.
They're great at that. My brother's an artist. I don't want him doing my taxes. Like, there's other people that are great at that. And so, it's a writer's room type environment for those people to riff and bring ideas forward. And, we meet with our CEO, Mike, every Thursday for a creative session. He's heavily involved in all the work. We all review it together. Some of the feedback is, hey, no one laughed at this cut. You laughed at the other one. So there's more there. Let's, that kind of thing. We talk about partnership opportunities, what's in the pipeline, how we want to maybe adjust the schedule, like all of that happens at that day. But this awesome creative team is serviced by a group called Marketing Operations. So they're the ones, white glove, effectively the concierge, like, hey, here's the priorities, here's the meetings, here's the things. No one's filling out timesheets,
right.
No one's doing expense reports in that way. Like, it's like, everybody thinks they know a creative idea. Nobody's going to finance saying, gap accounting should be done differently.
Yeah.
Like, it is a skill. It is very, very difficult in comedy. You're soliciting an involuntary reaction after all.
Yeah.
It's not a golf clap.
Yeah.
Like, we want people to really laugh. We let them do what they do best.
You've been very you've made so many brand partnerships. You're out here in Cannes. Is this the first time you're out here as a brand?
It is, Liquid Death. We were invited out. Mike did the keynote on Monday, so that's the reason why we're here.
I was so fascinated by you said, we're here because of a completely different reason than any other brand. Can you talk about that a little bit? You're here for partner, like to find interesting people.
I mean, one of the benefits of there's two really awesome things that have come out of this week. I mean, first is meeting with, our next brands that we want to collab with. We want to make sure that they kind of understand they're signing up for a Liquid Death idea and kind of understand a bit about their brand, let them know how we operate with partners. And it's way better to do it in person than on a Zoom. You get a sense of who understands what we're after. We're unapologetic. We're making humor. We're making humor that has an audience on the internet. We're not making laugh track 90s sitcoms that aren't really funny when you take the laughs away, right?
Yeah.
So had a bunch of those meetings, met a bunch of awesome partners. Months coming up and next year should be great. It should be really, really cool. And then the second quite awesome thing that's happened is, Liquid Death's not available in France. And so we're having all of these moments like when the brand was completely new in America. I was doing an interview with some ad trades, brought the Liquid Death to the coffee in the morning, and the waitress was like, "You can't drink beer here." I said, "Oh no," and I'm already halfway into some questions in interviews. I said, "No, it's not beer, it's water."
Yeah.
Water. It's really water. Look at the kid. This is so cool. I can't believe it. I had to say, we didn't pay this woman.
Yeah.
This is a real organic thing, and continue the interview. And she comes out later, 5 minutes. Where can I buy it?
Yeah.
This is so cool. I go,
Yeah.
Well, soon. We're gonna hopefully
Well,
be
thank
here
you.
soon.
Did
We'll
you
see.
fly this in
Well,
specifically?
we are available in the UK. We're starting to get into some
Got it.
markets, and so our team there was able to drop some pallets
Well, I
off
feel
here.
very fortunate for you to.
It's
bring
a
that
commodity
back here.
around these parts.
Yeah. Wow. I
Yeah.
feel like I should drink this slow. Jet.
Yeah,
You're
let's
giving
talk
away
about
a
it.
jet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to me how that idea came up, where it's at, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you asked before about the creative process. Like sometimes the team will come up with an idea that's basically so good not to let go of.
Yep.
And even if we don't do it right away, it kind of just stays in the back of my mind. And that's actually probably great advice for anybody. If that thing just kind of sticks in your head as whatever your lane is, funny, crazy, wild, educational, sentimental, earnest, and you got to do it. You got to find a time to do it. And so, famously in the 90s, a big soda company said they were giving away a Harrier Jet, but it was a joke, but they didn't really have the legal disclaimer. This kid found kind of a hack to get the points and do it and sued them. And, there was a great Netflix documentary, 2 years. It was one of their biggest, I understand, that talked about that whole thing. It was a wild experience, really cool, fun documentary.
Yep.
So around that time, Mike calls me up, said, "We got to get a Harrier. Let's really do this."
Yeah.
And it was really logistically challenging to get a Harrier. First off, there's still tens and tens of millions of dollars, more than our annual marketing budget by a lot.
Yeah.
And if we were to get one that's a kind of museum, unflyable Harrier, that's a shell, like that, was still going to be a big, big dollar amount for us. Took forever to get over. Most of them are in the UK. That's kind of where they use these planes more. Then somebody's winning a thing that, what are you really going to do with it?
Yeah.
I mean, even big suburban homes don't have that kind of a backyard.
Yeah.
And, and ultimately just the logistics at that time made it kind of impossible. And Mike knew, well, this moment is passing a bit in this way. And it came back around, and the thought was, we're calling it the Dehydrator. It's an L-39C Albatross made by this company, Aero. It's used as a military training jet. So the Top Guns kind of start on this thing because they can go 500 miles an hour at 30,000 plus feet and pull all these crazy Gs. Two-seater, like very much the real deal.
Yeah.
It was never weapons capable, which is important because you don't have to go through a bunch of Department of Defense regulations. Private pilots can own this thing. And a two-seater lets a regular person get a pilot and kind of do the deal. And we call it the Dehydrator because in the Liquid Death universe, this is actually a thing that rids you of your bodily fluids, given what it can do. So you have to buy more Liquid Death.
Yeah.
We're giving it away. The promotion kicked off in Memorial Day, goes through Labor Day. Text your receipt of Liquid Death to us. Every can is an entry. We understand how many cans you got, and there it is. You get 6 months of hangar space, custom helmet.
So you
Liquid
get
Death for
to
your
park here. You get a.
Yeah, 6 months. We're
garage.
paying the sales tax on the whole thing. Right now, it's hangared outside of Chicago. We had the whole thing decal painted up.
That's amazing.
Did a funny spot around the thing.
Yeah.
And it's again how our marketing evolves because this is a funny, crazy thing. They got a lot of press, and if you watch the video, it kind of like pokes at the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody said they were going to do it. We're really doing it. We got that thing right there for you.
Yeah.
But it drives retail.
Yeah.
This is a lottery ticket now you can drink.
Yeah. I gotta scan this thing. Send it in.
By all means.
I feel like in the world of marketing or world of advertising, we're afraid of going to ideas that have kind of been done or kind of been like we don't make fun of the thing. We don't make. You're open to just kind of. And I like that you said that it's kind of a take on the marketing universe. And was that ever a question, or you were just like, yes, let's fuck with that thing that happened?
Advertising is ripe for satire.
Yes.
The reality of it is I am paying typically to force feed a message to you. And, oftentimes it's an ad. It's a naked value exchange.
Yeah.
Buy my thing. You may or may not want it. I'm getting on the airwaves. I'm doing the thing. So it's funny to take those old tropes and give it a little twist, make it funny. The beer commercial, we all know that trope. Makeup from the 90s. We like playing with nostalgia. It kind of, brings young folks back to an era to learn about. Old folks, it's like a warm blanket of going, oh, I remember that. That's funny. They kind of meet in the middle on the thing.
It feels like you guys' personality as well. Like it's an industry you joined. And in an industry you joined, we were at BBDO together at the same time, I perhaps. And the man who came up with the Harrier Jet was my boss at that time.
Okay.
So it feels like that was like a generational thing that you guys kind of came into this space. It feels like your personal, we were talking about music earlier, it feels like all of your personal souls are in this brand. Is that true? It's fair to say.
It is. I mean, I think part of the reason we resonate is it's coming from real humans that really think this is awesome, that really care, that have these crazy diverse passions that go into it, that have these ideas. And it's not overthought.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, let's make something super funny. And the thinking part is, what mechanism can we get it out there with? What business does it solve? But it has to start with, like in our case, is it funny?
Yeah, I'm sure you get this a lot. It's one of my favorite brands. It's one of a lot of people's favorite brands because it feels like a person I know. And it feels like a person whose jokes I know. Like when you get to know a friend, you're like, oh, Dan's gonna make that joke. Oh, that's Dan's humor. And it feels, out of all the brands, it feels most like a person. And,
I mean, part of that is it's a real small team.
Yeah.
And, it's great to have a creative lead who's also the CEO of your company.
Yeah. And he said he's very involved still in the creative every week.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
How long are those meetings?
It's like a half day. Yeah, we do a half
every
day.
week. That's the coolest, fascinating thing. I don't think any CEO realizes like you can he's taking out half a day every Thursday.
Yeah, but that's not all. I mean, we're in Slack, we're in email, we're always kind of constantly evolving these things. But the Thursday meeting when we're all together again is a bit of that writer's room approach, or we come together to evaluate things, and it helps to be in person for that. But yeah, it's not just that day.
Do you think you can come up with those ideas remotely?
Well, we do.
Where's your
yeah?
stance
No,
on that?
we have creative team in all parts of the country. It's not all of them that are there.
And all are you talked about all these writers and stuff. Are all those staffers, or are it's just kind of like a network of people you tap into for ideas and stuff?
Well, we have this comic ambassador program, which is really cool. We have big comics, like I mentioned earlier in this, and then we have a lot of other awesome stand-ups, working comedians, headliners all over. I grew up in the comedy business, so I was able to network through folks. And they're brought in and they're paid, and they're given options and equity in Liquid Death, which makes them invested in the thing. Amazing. And the thought is, hey, rep the brand, drink a can on stage every now and again, but every also month or two or a couple months, we'll have something you can help out with. Hey, give us 5 flavor names, or is there any punch up? Is there a joke that we're missing? Is there a better way to say this?
How do you operationalize that?
It's not difficult. I mean, you're emailing comics. We're not asking them to, sit down and write a script typically.
Yeah.
But it is part of our culture where a comic, it's not worth their while. If it's an old stodgy brand that feels super corporate and you're going to Zooms and meetings are on the calendar, it's like that's not the way this world and universe works.
Yeah.
And so, we just approach them as kind of cool, funny people, and they look at our work and go, oh, this is stuff I could write for or help out with because it is actually funny.
Do you find the personalities of the comics that match with the brand, that you're like, oh, this is like
No. Like, the more diverse, the better.
Yeah.
So we have, every type of comic in this program, and it's growing. It's maybe about 10 or 12 right now. But that's the idea. We want, the unexpected idea that comes from somebody totally different. Our staff is full of people that have never had a marketing job before. Bartender, bassist for a band, professional skateboarder, snowboarder. Like and that's why we don't have the group thing. That's why we're divorced from the way things always were. We can think kind of like blank slate, like how should we do this? And we're doing it at all levels of the company. We're rethinking kind of the way process should work and finding what works. And we're a real fast young startup, so we can evolve quickly or change everything.
Well, it's absolutely incredible. Thank you for. It's just fascinating to watch a creative company. You know, it feels like you can see what you're talking about is like putting creativity into the process and like how you calendar things, a comic ambassador program, how fucking wild in its own. And it's just fascinating to watch. And thank you for making that, I guess.
Hey, hopefully it's clear we're having a lot of fun with it.
It's very apparent. That part is very apparent. And it's awesome to see that in person, that it's very, very true.
Well, cheers. Great to chat.
Yeah, thank you.